We're gonna jump right into this. Moody and Neil, I want to just get right to it. When you guys, why do we need another security book? I'm dying to know. I feel like there's a million books. What was it that you guys were sitting there around the table thinking there's something that we have that hasn't been touched on? Maybe you can give us a glimpse into that beginning of that book.
So I'd be happy to chime in on that. There are many security books out there. There's many security books that speak to security professionals. This book is the security book for non-security people, for the most part. So it tells the stories of many of the past breaches and provides advice on cybersecurity to everyone. And so that's I think, the key contribution that this book makes.
Yeah, and I think the other part,
I'll buy that.
I think the other part of it was, and maybe it's two angles of this. One of them was we definitely wanted to try to make some attempts to reach the non-technical executives in companies. The more and more we're seeing security, it is really becoming a company problem. And I think early on, security was an IT issue. It was something that was dealt with at a lower level. And one of the things we want to do is, what we're seeing is, it's a company problem. And it's a company problem that requires all the executives to work together. And the other side of this is that we wanted to try to arm non-technical executives with the foundation, kind of the framework for how to have the conversation with security professionals and the security technologists. So I think that was part of it. And, the other part, Neil, that I think is also important in terms of it's also written with security teams in mind, is that I imagine as part of the writing process, Neil and I talking about, as we were going through this, we were talking about having discussions about, well, in this scenario, what would we have done? Right. And we approached the book from a CISO perspective as well as a CTO perspective. And I think one of the things that I'm really, really hopeful for is that technology teams would get the book and they would actually be able to discuss these different scenarios, whether it was the Target breach or JP Morgan Chase, and just talk about, okay, what happens in this scenario? What should we do? Or based on what would happen here, how are we prepared to handle this? So part of it is, it could be like a great tool for having a dialogue and an invitation just to have this discussion. And I think one of the things I enjoyed the most in the writing process was really having this, and honestly, some debates with Neil about, like, well, I'm not sure I would do that, or that sounds too good for a textbook, but in real life we would do something differently. And I think that's kind of the invitation for that we want the security team specifically, and the technology teams to have.
No, that's great. I do like how you bring in the real world leadership aspects into play, right? What is the board involved in? What are the leaders doing? So you kind of cover both the technical aspects, and you bring in the organizational part of the company into it as well.
Yeah, hey guys, great answer, good summary too. As we're preparing for this podcast, and Paul said, "Hey, you got to read this book," and I get the book, and it's massive, right? I'm like, no, what are you doing to me? But as I started digging in, I was like, this is an actual joy. It's a great book. I actually took a note, and I said, this book is literally a one-stop education experience for those interested in cybersecurity, information security. So kudos, great job on that.
Thank you.